In the early 1970s, America stood on the edge of a quiet internal war.
We stood up against oppression.
Racial tension was rising, small towns turned into battlegrounds of fear, and the Ku Klux Klan operated with a confidence that came from decades of unchecked terror.
So I'm telling him, I'm like, man, I can't tell you.
To know that there were, 1 million people in the Ku Klux Klan around the country.
Of the Christian religion.
Part of our country's racial history, the Ku Klux Klan.
My first meeting with him was very tough because, as we spoke about earlier, entrapment issues.
Hooded figures didn't just march at night, they influenced sheriffs, judges, and political leaders who quietly protected them. Communities lived under a silence that felt suffocating because everyone knew who held the real power. The FBI received intelligence that the Klan was preparing for a new wave of violence, coordinated, widespread, and far deadlier than anything before. Traditional law enforcement couldn't stop them. Every attempt failed because the Klan always seemed one step ahead. The only solution was unthinkable. Someone had to infiltrate them from the inside and stay long enough to expose their entire network. It required a man who could blend into their world seamlessly and survive it. He wasn't trained for undercover work. He wasn't a federal agent or a seasoned operative. He was an ordinary man living an ordinary life, working steady hours, raising a family, and watching the world around him grow darker by the day. He saw crosses burning on hillsides, heard whispers of threats in local stores, and felt the tension that rippled through neighborhoods whenever night fell. When the FBI approached him, he hesitated. He wasn't fearless, he wasn't ready, but he knew what could happen if he said no. The Klan had grown bold, attacking not just individuals, but entire communities. Someone had to step forward. His familiarity with the local culture, his ability to blend in, and his unassuming presence made him the perfect candidate. He accepted the mission quietly, knowing it meant living a double life that could end violently at any moment.
Well, I finally met the leader of the group. Hell, he didn't even pass the test on the nose card.
His introduction to the Klan wasn't dramatic. It was chillingly ordinary. A handshake in a parking lot. A nod from a stranger. A whispered list of instructions that led him to remote barns, abandoned fields, and dimly lit back rooms where men spoke in coded phrases. He memorized passwords, secret gestures, and ritualistic questions designed to expose imposters. Torches flickered against the darkness as new recruits stood in circles, swearing loyalty under the eyes of masked leaders. He played his role flawlessly, hiding the sickness he felt as he listened to hateful speeches and violent fantasies. Each meeting took him deeper into their trust, deeper into the heart of their operations. Every night he returned home carrying secrets that grew heavier with each passing day. But he kept going because every detail he learned was a weapon, one the FBI desperately needed. The psychological pressure became suffocating. By day, he tried to remain the man he used to be. A father, a neighbor, a quiet presence in his community. By night, he sat beside men plotting attacks, discussing targets, and celebrating past violence with pride.
And I'm reading post after post after post. I go to sleep for 6 to 8 hours. I wake up.
He had to laugh with them, nod with them, and sometimes agree with them just to survive. Pretending to belong to such hatred took a toll he never anticipated. He slept lightly, listened for footsteps outside his home, and avoided suspicious eyes on the street. He felt responsible not only for himself but for his family, who had no idea how much danger lurked around them. His transformation was complete, yet he never forgot why he was there. Every vile conversation, every coded letter, every violent plan made his resolve stronger.
No matter what extremists view, whether it's far-right extremism, radical jihad extremism, far-left extremism.
As his position inside the Klan grew stronger, suspicion around him also grew sharper. Members whispered about FBI informants, and paranoia spread like wildfire. He endured sudden searches of his vehicle, surprise loyalty tests, and aggressive questioning from men who wouldn't hesitate to kill him if they sensed doubt. Once, a concealed microphone shifted in his jacket during a gathering, and he felt an icy wave of terror wash over him. Another time, a high-ranking member took him on a late-night drive, probing him with questions designed to break his cover. He remained calm, answering with the confidence of a true believer. Those tense moments defined the entire mission. His survival depended on perfect acting. Any slip could lead to torture, disappearance, or a body no one would ever find. But his bravery allowed the FBI to map the network with unprecedented accuracy.
They put up, I mean, it's stupid stuff, but it's these nasty cartoons, and they had like a nose chart. Based on the nose, you could tell how Jewish the person was.
What the FBI initially expected was a violent extremist group. What he uncovered was something far more disturbing. A structured, well-connected network supported by influential figures outside the Klan itself. Local off-vessel. Eichels provided tips on police patrols, business owners donated money. A few individuals in law enforcement quietly protected members under investigation. The Klan wasn't operating alone, it had allies hidden in plain sight. He delivered this information in carefully coded messages, revealing a web of corruption that stunned federal investigators. The case shifted dramatically. This wasn't about stopping a handful of extremists. It was about dismantling an entire ecosystem of power that allowed the Klan to thrive. His intelligence transformed the mission from a regional investigation into a national priority. The FBI created a massive covert strategy based entirely on the information he provided. Blueprints of meeting locations, leadership structures, stockpiled weapons, planned attacks, and secret communication channels. When agents finally moved in, the crackdown was swift and devastating. Multiple counties were raided simultaneously. Weapons were seized from barns, basements, and rural hideouts. Hidden membership lists were retrieved from attics and storage units. Prosecutors unveiled evidence so overwhelming that courts went silent during hearings. The Klan's strongest chapters crumbled within weeks. Leaders fled, hid, or attempted to negotiate deals. Community members who once lived in terror watched the sudden collapse of a force that had dominated their lives for generations. And through it all, he remained invisible, a ghost behind the greatest internal takedown the KKK had faced in decades. When the mission ended, he didn't become a public hero. His name wasn't released. No press conference announced his contribution. He simply disappeared back into the life he left behind. But he was never the same. The mission had changed the way he walked, talked, slept, and trusted. He still checked his surroundings, still monitored cars behind him, still sensed danger even when none existed. Yet he also carried a profound sense of accomplishment. He had dismantled a machine of hatred from within, a task many believed impossible. Families who once feared burning crosses and midnight threats could now sleep peacefully because of the risks he took. And though no one outside a handful of agents knew what he endured, his work reshaped the safety of entire communities. His infiltration became a template for future counter-extremism operations. It taught investigators how hate groups conceal themselves, how they communicate, and how they recruit. His courage revealed that even the most deeply rooted networks can collapse under the weight of truth. Today, the communities he protected are safer, the Klan's influence is fractured, and the strategies developed from his mission continue to protect people across the country from extremist violence. His story remains a reminder that true heroism doesn't always exist in the spotlight. Sometimes it hides in small gestures, silent sacrifices, and dangerous choices made by ordinary individuals. He walked into darkness alone, armed only with courage and conviction. And because of that, he helped bring an empire of fear to its knees, proving that even the strongest hate can fall when one person is brave enough to stand against it.